Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Seth. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today, three new Memorias for the 180-day celebration. It's the part 2 Gacha. So yeah, three new ones. One of which I'm pretty excited to talk about because she brings a new mechanic to the game, and it might change the meta. So yeah, let's get started. First, I would like to talk about the new Tsukishiro Mona. She is a light crush attacker. I don't really know what to call it, biker or like casual wear. I don't know what this outfit should be called or whatever. But she gets an EX skill. It costs 11 SP. It's an AoE light attack. The damage is based on the number of totems she has, and during extra turn state, she gets plus 50% HP effectiveness or efficiency. She also gets a normal skill that costs 8 SP. It's an AoE light attack that increases her totem count. So the casual wear Tsukishiro is a AoE totem attacker that can easily stack totems based on the amount of enemies are on the field, thanks to her ability that gives her a totem for every enemy hit by her. So even normal attacks will grant a totem. To get the extra turn needed to get the plus 50% HP damage bonus, you have to do the event story that opens after completing chapter 3. Then you can exchange for the free S Memoria for Tsukishiro Mona that provides the extra turn and totems. Since her EX skill costs only 11 SP and her extra turn costs 5 SP, you will need 16 SP to use her EX skill to its full potential, not to mention building totems with her normal skill. So to use her to her full potential, if there is 2 enemies on the field, you would normal attack to get 1 totem, skill the next turn to get plus 4. So now you have 5 totems, and then you would normal attack 3 times until you get 16 SP. Then you use extra turn, which gives you plus 2, and now you're at 10 to use her EX skill to hit every benchmark. She can still be used also in single target content due to her high scaling, but you're just going to be stacking totems a little slower. In this case, you can use her 5 SP skill instead to gain totems while saving SP. You get this skill from just owning Tsukishiro Monaka's A Memoria, which you probably already have. I give her an A tier. She has very good damage but relies on her totem count, plus her extra turn to do any sort of damage, since the base damage is extremely low. Because of this, it takes a decent amount of turns and SP to get max damage potential, and Limit Break 1 will become pretty important if you do decide to use her as your main light DPS. Next, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite Memorias, the Pajama Okasahara Hisame. She is a Thunder Breaker. Her EX skill costs 15 SP. It's a single target thunder attack that does plus 50% DP damage, and if enemy is broken by this skill, all party members get plus 8 SP. She also gets a 5 SP skill that raises her own thunder skill damage and gets an extra turn. She is a very straightforward Memoria. She has great breaking capabilities, and if you do break, you get a massive amount of SP to not just her, but every single ally. She also gets a thunder skill damage boost to herself, so you don't need an elemental buffer if you don't want to use one. However, we all know breakers are pretty mid and a waste of a team slot for most content, sadly, but I do want to say that I love this Memoria. It's just so fun to use, and the skill animation and their outfit is absolutely adorable. The satisfaction of breaking the enemy and seeing everyone's SP just skyrocket back up and not needing to wait to set up again and just whacking the enemy a second time with everyone's EX skills to finish them off is just an amazing feeling. She is decent in score challenges to get fast clear times and clock tower for the same reason. However, you won't be seeing a massive damage number due to her being a breaker. She can also work in the first half of Anachronies to break and start building a devastation rate faster. The new level 3 orb bosses also gets 3 DP bars to break and gain SP from, which makes her excel for that type of content. Also, if you know any boss that heals their DP, she works amazing for that as well, since she can gain the plus 8 SP again. In a meta standpoint, I give her a B plus tier. She's very standard and isn't super special in any way, but in my heart, I believe that she is S tier. Next, we have the red dress Izumi Yuki, the light breaker, the one who is here to switch up the meta. Her EX skill costs 14 SP. It's a 3-hit light attack that does plus 30% DP effectiveness, but lowers her own attack for 2 turns afterwards. But if she breaks the enemy with light weakness, she applies super break, which means they take 300% more devastation rate. She also gets a 9 SP skill. It's just plus 30% TP damage, single target light attack. Is not important to talk about. All right, let's address the elephant in the room, super break. So there is 2 different versions of super break. This is a pretty big deal. It's pre-buff and post-buff super break. I'm not sure if it will be pre-buff, but just in case, I will talk about both of them anyway. So pre-buff, to apply super break, the enemy must already be broken at the start of the turn to apply the 300% more devastation rate. This means you cannot break with Yuki and get the 300% devastation rate boost on the same turn. You have to break with her, and then the next turn they will have the super break debuff or whatever applied onto them. However, post buff they changed it to where the last hit of the skill applies super break. So if they break from Yuki, then she will apply super break and you don't have to wait the next turn. On top of that, if an ally were to break the enemy before Yuki on the same turn, super break will be applied anyway despite not being broken directly by Yuki. But once it is applied, it cannot be applied again, so it cannot stack. So if an enemy heals their DP and you break them again for try and get 600% extra devastation rate, you cannot do that. So since in score challenges the enemy is capped at 300% devastation rate, you won't be getting a lot of value from super break. So the only content where she is valuable will be anachronies that have light weakness, but because in her skill description they have to be light weak, and I can count on the one hand the amount of anachronies that do have that, and it's 3. There's only 3 anachronies where you can use her. And if you already have Suit Karen-chan, she already does around 500% devastation rate automatically if they're light weak. So super break is just not needed and is just overkill. So for content where the enemy has multiple DP bars like level 3 orb bosses and a couple anachronies that I can think of, she's useless for those because super break only works when they're completely broken and they're vulnerable to HP damage. So I give her a C tier. She's not completely useless, but is like super niche. The super break post buff is a little better, but Yuki's conditions makes it useless outside of light weakness anachronies. So yeah, sorry. Izumi Yuki actually doesn't change the meta. Breakers are still ass. So yeah, good try, HBR. Alright, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I just wanted to make a really clickbaity video, just because it is a new mechanic, but it's not as good as you think it is. So yeah, sorry. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.